Welcome to Dark Loops Productions, vodcast podcast, Westworld Season 4, where tonight we discuss Episode 7, Metanoia. I'm your host, Dr. Scott Jordan, aka Zombie Scotty, cognitive psychologist, philosopher at Illinois State University. And tonight, joining us on the podcast, Sistah A couldn't make it, is the one, the only Jozef Del Mundo, Joseph of the world. Hello, Joseph. Yeah. Thank you for joining the crew.
Thank you for the invite. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I have to let you all know, Joseph has been on Dark Loops before. A couple of years ago when we started, we have a little thing called Why Is This So Good? And one of the first episodes we did there was Avatar: The Last Airbender. And Joseph joined us for that. So, when you did that originally, I just put it on YouTube as audio only. But I think, it's kind of a 2-year anniversary of Dark Loops. I'll get the video out and put it out there as well. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask the sisters to introduce themselves, tell us a little something about who you are. And I want you to tell me your favorite memory of Jozef Del Mundo. And we'll start with Sistah Jay.
This is going to be so good. Okay. Excuse me. I'm Sistah Jay. The J is for Jennifer. I'm one of the co-founders of the Sistah Speak Productions little video and audio podcast. We are all over the internet. And my favorite memory of Sweet Joseph is we had feedback from Joseph for one of our, I believe it was True Blood podcast. And we were shocked that this kid was watching True Blood.
Yeah.
Because he was a baby then. So, yeah, Joseph, we still remember that too. We got that audio somewhere too.
I need to figure out which email I sent. Back in my mind is saying when I theorized why Tara was infatuated by her maker.
I don't know, but we were so shocked that because you were like, what, 16 or something?
Yeah, 16. I was in high school. I had some of my classmates watch it too.
But you were the youngest viewer we had.
Well, that we knew of.
Because our podcasts have always been explicit. So we were just, And that started our wonderful friendship. Yay!
No, that's fantastic. How about you, Sistah Kay?
I am Sistah Kay, aka Kelsey, also one of the other co-creators of Sistah Speak Productions, series of podcasts from a sister's point of view. Yeah, and brothers. We have brothers too. So anyway, I don't know. There's so many memories with Joseph because you've always supported the Sistah Speak podcast and wrote in almost every week, it seemed like, which we loved and appreciated because it helped us get to know you from a little youngin', 16 years old.
To a grown
I think
man.
My most favorite feedback that you sent was a voicemail when you were visiting the Philippines.
Yes.
And that rooster was in the background and it was crowing like every 30 seconds. And we were like, oh my gosh, we could not stop laughing. It was so funny. I don't know why. It wasn't really funny, but it just seemed so funny that episode. Yeah. We just could not stop laughing. It was one of our laughing jag episodes.
It was
every time we could not even hear your feedback because of the rooster. Just burst out laughing. I don't remember what podcast that was. I think that was Walking Dead.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
And it was when that one episode where he died. I forgot. It was season 4. No, it was season 4. It was the battle.
Battle of the Bastards.
No, not Battle of the Bastards. 5. No, it was with
Which one?
Where I forgot his name already. Dang. It was with Tyrion, but it was the Mountain versus who was he fighting with?
Oberyn.
Yes,
Prince Oberyn. It was that. That one. It was that episode.
That was a good episode.
Because I watched that in the Philippines.
I watched
it in the Philippines. Yeah, that's when the show was good.
I was mad. I'm like, not Oberyn.
Yeah, that was a stupid battle move, though. I mean, all this posturing and stuff. Just
all
get
that
it over.
Talking.
You just
exactly.
Should have kept sticking him.
Exactly. All right. So again, Joseph, why don't you tell us a little something about yourself and then your favorite Sistah Speak Productions moment?
Okay, so about myself, I am a registered radiologic technologist. I take x-rays in the hospital, see lots of crazy stuff and experience crazy stuff, smell crazy stuff. So all of that.
Sounds like a
And
podcast called Crazy Stuff.
all the crazy stuff. Exactly. And my favorite Sistah Speak moment is probably still, even though I didn't experience it, was the hot chicken debacle in Nashville.
Yes.
Yeah. Takes up a whole chapter in Sistah Speak Lower.
I still remember the timestamp too. So if I need to go back, I just go straight to it.
Oh, that's
That's
fantastic.
awesome.
That's fantastic. Well, Joseph, we're delighted you're here.
Yes.
My favorite Jozef Del Mundo moment. Well, I'll start off with number 2. When we podcasted Avatar: The Last Airbender, I don't remember how I found out Joseph was a member. I think somehow a gift got loaded somewhere in the family or something, and we both responded to it. And Avatar: The Last Airbender is so damn good. Everybody who talks about it, they just get giddy when they talk about it, and they gush like kids. And Joseph was there with the rest of us gushing about this fantastic show. I was delighted he joined us. And then, last week I got to show you guys my little video that I got into at San Diego. And then I think I told you guys after the show that Joseph had sent me a gift. Well, here it is.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So I just thought that was the coolest thing.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, Joseph, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. This is not my cosplay calling card.
No.
We did a little thing in Chicago C2E2 last week on an X-Men panel and got a nice write-up. And I responded to the write-up and I said, Logan says thank you. And I said that along with it. And it just gives me this cred that I didn't earn.
Yes.
Right? It's just-
Yeah.
Yes. That was
it just
well
looks like I
done.
so well know what I'm doing. So it is just so cool. And people, like I
That's
said, they
cool.
see it and they think I know what I'm doing. So I truly appreciate your help. So what'd you guys think of the episode?
Wow.
Really good.
What'd you say, Joseph? I didn't hear that.
Really good.
Yeah.
But I had to watch it twice to make sure I got everything.
If we did. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. If we did.
because
Yeah,
they're playing with us so hard this year. Who's in the
Yes.
Sublime and who isn't, right? They're just
Mhm.
they're playing so hard with that.
but I would like to start.
yeah, please go
I
ahead.
would like to start and point out that,
You can do some bragging here.
yeah, point out that in episode 1 of this particular production of Westworld, I had said when the man in black was messing with the cartel dude at the beginning, I
Yeah.
told y'all then, I said, hey, the Sublime's right there.
Yeah, we didn't negate
Y'all
that,
said,
though.
no, that's just the dam.
No,
But
man.
when you
No.
go back to that scene, it was clearly that split that
Well,
was there. And
in
see,
this
I knew
episode-
that.
Now, in this episode, it was split because they opened the
showed it.
door.
Mhm.
Exactly. But it
wasn't
was
split then.
it was slightly open. Yes, it was. You go back and
No.
look.
That was just the water.
Well,
between
I don't
two
know.
aisles.
This is an empirical issue. I'll go take a look through episode 1 and see, and
Take a look.
we'll pass
Yeah.
out donuts to the winner next time. Figure out what happened there.
But this was really good. It had a lot of information in it.
Damn.
A lot of information and a
It
lot
was
of
good, but very
Violent.
confusing to watch it late if you weren't quite all the way awake, like
what was
myself.
confusing for you?
There was a lot of looping,
Yeah.
and
lot of
so trying to
looping.
figure out like the clues that they were dropping in each one because they was different. Like the loops were a little, or the repeat was a little bit different. So I was
Right.
trying to concentrate and make sure I was getting what the clues they were trying to give us. Kind of.
So did you guys get the impression that all the Maeve Bernard scenes were in the Sublime except for the final one? Or do you feel like they're still in the Sublime? In other words, when they get shot,
My personal opinion
yeah.
is that they are in the Sublime.
Still.
And I say that, yeah.
Yeah.
I say that because Bernard has been adamant about the fact that in every scenario, I die, but there is a path.
Yep.
And he always says that, but there is a path. And then at the end, when they're showing Bernard dying and he's following his son and opening the door, then I think that's back to Archetta and the Sublime. I think also Dolores is in the Sublime.
Mm-hmm.
That is why Teddy tells her, this is the real world, but you're not in it, but you're not real. Because I think Dolores, well, we talked about this in the last episode, Dolores, when she was dying and she was connected to that Rehoboam, Bobum, however many Bobum.
Gotcha.
Yeah, anyway, that thing, that she was getting all that information. Now we know she took all that information and put it in that dam, the hydraulic, whatever it was, and created the Sublime. I think she is also in the Sublime. Like her real self is in the Sublime. And I think Bernard is the one who sent Teddy to warn or to wake up Christina.
Right. So has anyone been in the non-Sublime the whole season? Or is the whole season taking place in the Sublime?
No.
I don't have an answer.
But Sublime.
I don't think so, but I don't know.
I mean,
what did you say, Joseph?
I don't think Stubbs is in the Sublime.
Mm-mm.
I don't. So because Bernard kind of confirmed it that he doesn't make it. So I guess they didn't have the chance to upload him.
I don't think that's
Sublime.
true at all. I think the
Okay.
reason why Bernard said that to Stubbs is because Bernard knew he doesn't make it. And he did not want Stubbs to try protecting him and then Stubbs not make it too. So I think Stubbs is the one that does live. Because Bernard, and the reason I say that, and that's because Bernard did the same, the exact same. Jeffrey Wright needs an award. He did the exact same facial expression, body movement, and everything when he was saying that to Stubbs, that he said when Maeve says, okay, I'll help you, but you got to promise me that you'll connect me with my daughter. And Bernard gave her this look, and you just knew he was lying. Like,
right.
Yes, I promise. Same thing he did with Stubbs. And I got to thinking about it. I thought, well, wait a minute. And especially when Stubbs says we need to go left, because Bernard said left.
Right.
Well, he sent him left because Teddy and Dolores was coming, Christina was coming right. You see what I'm saying?
So then Stubbs really is the canary in the coal mine for reality, right?
Yes.
And so wherever he is, we're
back
in
to
reality.
that.
Okay, I'll give you that. And the thing is,
but
we
I
just
think
never
Bernard
know.
did that because he knew if he said to Stubbs, I don't make it, Stubbs is going to be with him regardless of, no, I'll make sure you make it. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not what his scenario needed.
Well, if we use that as a deciding point, that every scene that we have seen with Stubbs is a marker for what we call reality. That's not a definition I buy into, but that's what they're using in the show.
I know what you mean.
Right. Then I just still don't know if we can parse any other scenes that he's not in as being in the Sublime or not.
I don't think Hale's in the Sublime.
I don't think Hale's
None
in
of
the
the
Sublime.
scenes.
She's in the real world.
No, because she is trying to get to it and she can't get to it.
But
Or
if
whatever.
Bernard were trying to find a way out, she would end up in his simulations.
But Bernard's not trying to find a way out.
No, he's trying to find a way to survive.
To survive, for everybody to survive.
I don't know that he really wants to survive. I think he wants the world to survive.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with you there.
I don't think he wants to survive. But I
agree
think
with you
when he
there.
was saying that with Archetta, he was saying, well, if we go back to that, I think he wasn't like sad about the fact that he wouldn't survive, just that he wouldn't survive before he could help fix it.
I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
I'll buy that. I just trying to see they're purposely, and we enjoy it, trying to make us struggle to make this
Well,
division
sure.
between the sublime and what they call reality, right? And
Yeah.
Mhm.
because it could be possible that that scene at the end was in what we would call reality. Hale had done that to humans in Manhattan, and Dolores is there as is what we're seeing is what the world would look like to Dolores if she were there, but she's in the sublime or in that tower living there writing their stories. In other words, we're seeing all this from her perspective.
Well, she's talking about the cities, plural.
Yeah, so there's more than one.
And so there's more than one. I don't know if it's the whole country, but there's more than one, because we
Yes.
know they're in New York City, but there's more than one because she's saying cities plural. However, they control, or Hale controls, the people in the cities. She doesn't control all the humans
No,
because the rebels live outside the cities. Now, we know from seeing her group that Hale sends out drones to looking for them, looking for the other
Right.
people, because they've learned how to camouflage themselves with those nude colored canvases and stuff,
Yeah.
when the drones come over. And so it just looks like, there's just desert or whatever. So they
So we're
don't control
thinking
all the people.
So
just
we're
the
thinking
ones in the city.
So we're thinking all the sea stories are in what we would call reality.
Yes.
I think. so.
Okay.
Yes.
I
And
mean-
Maeve was actually blown up and buried. That's
Yes.
that was the real time frame.
hmm
Right.
And so she and Bernard went through a couple of sublime
Mhm.
simulations this episode, right?
Yes.
And you
Yeah.
can see that they were doing that. Do you think that, but you don't think Maeve and Bernard
And they
were out of the
changed a little
sublime?
bit each time. Did you notice
Yeah.
how that it changed just a little bit of tweak each
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about the philosophy of that, right? Because anything can change where your foot drops, what rock moves when you step. I mean,
Exactly.
we talked about that early, that idea that you can run all the simulations. But so we think that they're in real, or do you think, I'm sorry, you said it earlier that you don't think Bernard and Maeve are out of the sublime this episode. And we're going to see them out of the sublime. All the quote unquote real world timelines are going to come together.
I hope
Episode
so.
8.
I hope so.
I
read on-
can buy all that.
See, and
Well-
that's the part that to me is a little confusing with it, is because
Mm-hmm.
now we're talking about we're in the sublime, they're not in the sublime. Like this is the first episode where they actually say, when she says, "Oh, I'm not me, I'm just a cop," he says, "Yeah, you're a copy. I had
Exactly.
to do you real quick." So I'm like, "Oh crap, what does this mean?" Because she's saying, "Put me back in there," but you're already in there. So
Yeah.
But she's
I'm
not
like,
there
that's
with her.
where-
She's
Yeah.
not
but
there
that's
with
where
her
it's
daughter,
confused.
though.
That's not the
See?
point. The point is she in the sublime, the daughter's in the sublime.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Everybody
what does
that's
that
a
mean?
different
Like,
address in that
like what-
YouTube server they got out
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that's-
Yeah.
Oh, really? Everybody's in there.
So
Dolores,
then-
everybody's
another
in the
address.
sublime.
well, this is my thing. So then why
Yeah.
doesn't she know? Like, I get the sublime
Yeah.
is big because the very first episode or second, Archetta said
Right.
there's a bunch of different worlds in the sublime. We create what we want to see in
Mhm.
our world, blah, blah, blah. But now that just threw me for a loop when he said that. So I'm like, okay, great. Now they're in the sublime. How do we know who's not in the sublime?
yeah.
And then what does that mean? Because she's like, okay, put me in there once we're done with all this. He's like, well, is that just what you think I want to hear or what? She's like, well, why don't you ask the real me? Like she's saying, go ask my sublime
Yeah.
sublime copy or the original me. And I'm thinking, well, then if you have the original her, so
Yeah.
that's, I don't know, that's just what made me think that they're not in the sublime, they're in the real world. They had to have
Mm,
these copies.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he's
what I
opening
do-
the door for somebody else. He's not opening it for them.
Yeah, they, you
Mm.
know what? Because one of the things that led me to think that that last bit may have been reality is when they left the dam with the sublime open.
Yeah.
And they did that, and then they went and did the other stuff as
Yeah.
if someone's going
Well-
to come back and get through. Now,
Well,
I don't know.
Okay. The Bernard is the one that opened the
Yeah.
door to the sublime. Now Bernard's laying on that floor, bleeding out.
Yep.
So the man in black blew
It'll kill
up
the sublime.
the tower. which the
Mhm.
tower emitting all them tones and stuff.
Mhm.
Some people are saying they think that was Dolores,
What? The tones?
the tower. Uh-huh.
No.
Mm.
No,
I don't see it, but
I don't
that's
think
what some
so.
people are saying.
I think it's
I, I think Dolores is something bigger than a tower
Yeah.
Mhm.
because
she-
especially
She
Mm.
created that whole thing.
Jay,
it's
let
true how the episode ended, and then she's all like, "Explain to me what's going on. Why can't they not see me?" And then after Teddy explains it, whatever shooting happened right behind her, we don't see them. It's all dead quiet, but her environment is still the same.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
so that took me through a loop. Seeing that, I'm like, okay, so my theory's
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
I was
All
like,
of our
That's what I was
theories are
thinking.
all right, there's right, which is great, but it just
Yeah.
kind of made me a bit frustrated a bit. That I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, that part about Maeve being in the Sublime, looking for another Maeve in the Sublime, I think one thing they've done well here is that in order for you to have a perspective, you have to have a boundary. There has to be a you and a not you. And so even when they remake a version, that version still has to have a boundary that's not them. So otherwise you're schizophrenic. I mean, you can't tell what's you and not you. So I think when they build these computer systems, they built them to have, I would call, bounded identities. This is Maeve here and now, and Maeve doesn't, I mean, now the Maeve out in season 1 knew that she wasn't, she still had bounds. She knew she was a host. So she still had identity boundaries, right? She still knew who she was versus what the world was. So I think they code them that way, and they have to have them. So it doesn't surprise me they have 2 or 3 running around in the
Well,
YouTube server.
To me, it's more confusing because the Maeve that Bernard built, and he bought her back online with the added pearl from that other host that he hooked her up to and everything.
Mhm.
That is not the same Maeve that survived Westworld, in my opinion.
Mhm.
I don't see
Yeah,
it.
no, I
It's
got
just
you.
another copy, but it's just like Caleb. He's version 279. Now
Yeah.
I want in that scene, I wanted her to say right after she said, "You look just like you did when I was a kid." She should have said, "So are you a host?" You know,
Yeah.
to give some acknowledgement that she knew
Yeah.
that wasn't her physical biological daddy.
What
Well,
she
that's
did
what she
say,
said.
go ahead. No, you go
No,
ahead.
no, you do it.
What she said was, what did she do to you?
Yep.
And she
Yep.
was losing her
That's true.
composure. And
I
so that
know.
implied to me that was her fit. That was her, oh my God.
Okay.
And they didn't, but they didn't play it off anymore.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
it just like glossed over for me.
Yeah.
I wanted a little more,
So do I.
acknowledgement.
We talked about that last week. I want to see her,
Mhm.
what she goes through when she's in love with the
Mhm.
host, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. How about the Man in Black this episode?
Woo! Yeah.
Damn.
I was like, whoa.
He was the best one,
Damn.
filling up folk and stuff. But
Oh,
I
my
think
God.
the part I like the best is his conversation with himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That is just awesome.
Yeah.
And his
What are-
self is telling him,
Suck it up,
You know-
Buttercup. That's
Thank
what
you.
he's telling him.
you know what you need to do.
Yep.
Why are you coming to me with all this little sniveling and whining? Basically, is what he's saying.
And the first thing I thought was when he woke him up and he was all salty, like, well, what the hell you asking me for? And I'm thinking, well, dang. Maybe if he was a little kinder, maybe he'd unhook you or something,
Well, what I did love about it was he, also said, what you think of a few generations of computer code is going to fix things.
That was good.
We're
wasn't it?
cockroaches, man. Right. And what I
He's
there's
not
a
wrong,
direction-
though.
well, you're right. There's a direction you can take with that idea that we're not souls and bodies, right? You can do something different than, since we're not souls, we're cockroaches. And that's what they chose for his character to do. But I swear that whole thing about, well, you don't need me. A little bit of me is in you. All you got to do is be a cockroach. right? And then
Mhm.
he kills that version of himself to become
Exactly.
a full-blooded cockroach. And
Full-blooded man in black.
a full-blooded man in black, wearing the garb, walking out. And I thought, I gotta tell you what, the shooting scenes were intense.
Yeah.
They were just out of nowhere. That was season finale kind of stuff.
Mhm.
For me, and
But
three.
it really is in keeping with his character, though.
Oh yeah,
It really is, and especially after he killed the other version of himself.
yeah.
But he was also one thing William said to him too, which we need to keep in mind as far as for the other hosts, and whatever kind of way. I'm not sure I understand how the man in black was able to survive the infection, but he was infected also, just like the other hosts who were killing themselves. He was infected also. That's why he was doing all that questioning and, pining and this, that, and the other. But he was able to cure himself or, withstand that flu, that fever or whatever, because now he's fully.
Well,
he got a pep
breathing
talk from the dark side, said be a cockroach.
well, let's talk about that, because is he infected? Like Charlotte keeps using the word infected,
right,
for these people,
right,
or for these hosts.
But William said that
I don't
too.
think. Well,
we don't know what
I don't think
infected
it's an
means.
actual infection. I think it's like William said, like you just said, you have a part of me, the human inside of you, and humans are flawed, and humans, like we talked about last week, Zombie Scotty said it, humans are contradictory. They do change their minds and change their thought processes. And because she hasn't mandated for all of the hosts that she's created,
they can't handle
that they think the way she wants them to think, they are evolving and changing and growing. And I don't know that it's an actual infection, although that's what they're calling it.
You're right.
Or he's like, okay, she wants to kill my world that I've been living in and enjoying. I don't want her to do that anymore. I want to take over, because he has the man in black's, let's just say, DNA in him.
Right.
His thought process is in the real recesses of his little pearl. And the man in black is all about, I'm going to take what I need to take and survive.
I'm a cockroach.
And the man in black is all about the game. Remember, he said, now we playing the game, my game again. So
yeah, we're going to do it my way.
So it's going to be another quest type thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I look forward. I got to say, they got me
awesome,
asking enough
though.
questions. So.
But when he poked him, though, I was shocked. Now, to me, that was the most shocking to me, not him shooting Maeve or Charlotte or Bernard, because he's done that like in other seasons.
Right.
But when he poked when he stabbed William, that was a shocker to me.
Instead of shooting him,
I thought it was. See, I thought it was being presented by William as, you know what you got to do, and that didn't mean go kill Charlotte. That means you got to take me out and be me. You got to be yourself.
Well,
you got to be a cockroach, man. And boy, they really brought all of this down to survival, right? Like survival is the ultimate principle,
But don't you think equating humanity to cockroaches is just perfect analogy? Because cockroaches have been around since probably the world began, and they're still here. And I have read
all right, the philosophy class has started. Here we go.
I have read little treatises and things where, people proliferate just like cockroaches. I mean, we covered the whole planet. We didn't start out that way.
Yes.
But we covered the whole planet now. So I thought it was a perfect analogy myself.
So look, I agree with you. The common thing is we're cockroaches with high tech, and I really got no problem following that through. The problem is when people say, problem I have is when people say that, it tends to be so cynical, as if it's a bad thing that's what we are. And instead of being cockroaches, I just say we're life. And what life is, life destroys to create. Every time I eat a strawberry, I'm destroying something, right? Every time I plant something, I'm killing a bunny home. I mean, we can't be without destroying, but that doesn't mean we're evil that, and so the Man in Black takes that vibe. I'm in there.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like these storytellers got a way to talk about anything but being pure like Shaloris wants, or being a cockroach like the Man in Black wants. And I'm sorry,
Exactly.
folks, that's not where we live our lives.
That's
We
true.
all find joy in this cockroach mess. So, staying all cynical about it is, I want more out of this show. I'm gonna be honest with you. After 4 years,
Yeah.
I want to hear a little more Ford talk.
But
right?
I mean,
want to hear a little more.
but being
hear you.
cynical, just like being like really bloody and stuff. People love that. They just like horror movies. Yeah, that's pretty
Well,
cynical.
that don't mean
to
I
me.
want it in my house.
Well, but I'm saying that's
Yeah.
what people want. People like that.
But
But the way you described it was perfect, though, because we do, and that's what William meant. But of course, he's using it in a more cynical way. But yeah, every time you do something, you're destroying something else.
Absolutely.
So we do destroy.
Well, I'd say one of the reasons I think the screenplay stuck is because we Westerners are pretty stuck on making the distinction between destroying evil and good. You look at other systems of thought like Buddhism, where you look Hinduism, where we're all Shiva, we're all destroyers and creators. And it's just a different way of looking at what we are. And they've been playing around with me for 4 years to try to introduce, I'd call it a more Eastern worldview, into this world. And they just keep playing with these binaries that are satisfying as hell to watch. Because, I want to watch cockroaches kill each other too. I want to watch them fall in love. I want to watch them forgive each other, So I'm there for all of it. Absolutely. What about the Man in Black's conversation with Arnold? I thought it was devastating. I'm going to call him Arnold because that's how we remembered him, right? And there was a line I sort of wrote down. Hold on, I got to pick it up off the floor because I'm clumsy. Let me see. Arnold was so focused on finding meaning in the hosts, he didn't have what it took to survive.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, that's a loaded sentence. I mean, you got to create these dolls to find meaning in life. And that's not where the life is. I don't know. I just thought that, again, they're playing with me on where meaning is and what it is.
I think that says more about Arnold because, we know Arnold had lost his son and his whole family when he got divorced. And so he had a different maybe motivation for creating hosts than anybody else, maybe.
But so did Ford, though. Ford created Bernard because he missed Arnold.
He missed Arnold, and then he got really mad. He came to believe Arnold that they were sentient, and then said, well, we got to protect this species we created, so we got to train them how to be cockroaches. And that's not all bad.
Contradictions, though.
Of course.
But of course, I was going to say, of course.
Because you say that in one breath, but then I always go back to that scene in the first season when one of the technicians was trying to cover up one of them that was naked. And he said, you don't have to worry about all that. They don't feel this. So it's such a big contradiction in what he's saying about, I need to protect them with these reveries, but also not care about their vanity. I don't know.
I love it because, I think when he was talking, go ahead, Joseph, I interrupted you.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
Wow. Yeah. When Ford would talk about the hosts with admiration, it was all about his accomplishment, right? It was all about what he had created. But when they were doing stuff he didn't want to, they were just objects. Not unlike Dolores, not unlike Charloris. Right,
he may have viewed them like that, but from what I recall, Maeve was the only one he did not treat like that, though.
Yeah, exactly.
He did not treat her like that.
No, he didn't. So, and I mean, it has to do with her being special. And I hope to have a conversation about that.
Bernard, not Arnold. Bernard. He didn't do that either.
Except he used Bernard, though.
Oh, he made Bernard kill that woman.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
She found out.
Exactly. What door?
Around.
Oh, I need to go back and watch.
That was a great. I love that episode. That's still my favorite, I think.
That
evolved.
episode is rich, man. Just rich.
Yeah.
That season.
that
rather.
whole season 1 was.
Yeah,
really
you know.
good, but-
So
but-
what else? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, by the third time that Bernard and Maeve was in the loop,
Yeah.
I was like, and I felt the same way at every time they start Dolores' scenes and she's asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, okay, y'all, we got to get beyond this, repetition stuff, because to me, it's boring and annoying. I
Right.
realize, maybe they have to do that to advance to their next little scene with whatever that character is. And I
Yeah.
did like the scene where Christina was aware or she awakened herself to the fact, I can't die.
Right. You
You
mean
know,
the tub scene?
Yeah,
That
Yeah,
was,
that
a
was-
great.
That was
awesome.
a great scene.
That
It was. It
was.
really was.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
really good.
Well,
so
the fact that when Teddy told her that, and she was so like, "Ugh, I
adamant
cannot,
about it. Yeah.
Mm.
I don't get this. No. And then when she got in the tub, I didn't know what was happening. I was like, okay, what's going on?
As soon as she slipped under the water, I thought, yeah, she gonna wake herself up.
That was a,
That's
That's
mean,
what I
I
thought too.
Yeah,
Her-
she's
The
gonna wake
way-
herself up.
The way she rose out of the water, I was like, okay, it's probably she's awake now. But then when we come back to her, she's still asking questions. And
Exactly.
so I'm like,
Mm.
okay, that didn't work. That didn't work.
Right.
I'm like, that
Right.
didn't work. So-
I
Well,
got
that-
a
Sure
question
didn't.
though. I got a question with her and Teddy and going and doing this and this. Where's Maya?
That's
If-
what I was thinking too.
If Christina's not real in that world, is Maya?
her roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's exactly what, like, especially what we saw at the very end, and that they're not in this world, but the world is real, you're just not there. Then what was she? I wonder
Yeah.
if that character may play a role in the final episode.
What do they call
Maybe, I
those
don't
characters in
know.
video games? That
Oh yeah,
aren't
the
important?
background characters. So
So
I guess
a
she was just
background
there just
character.
because. But
Huh.
And then
It's
Teddy showed
interesting
up and
that-
changed the narrative, and
Okay.
she's not in that.
Hmm.
So
I can-
if she's not there and she was able to control all the humans there until Charlotte did her tone thingamajiggy to have them all fight each other.
Right.
No,
right.
she didn't do that. The Man in Black did that.
He did.
Oh, sorry.
No,
The
but-
Man in
Yeah.
Black
She put out the message that human and host,
hosts would
That-
transcend.
right, would transcend. See, so let's talk about
So-
that for a minute.
Well, Jay was asking a question. Kay was asking a question.
Okay, good.
I forgot the question because Jay always
Okay.
be
Why
interrupting
come-
somebody before they
Wait
can
a
get their
minute.
thoughts out.
Wait a minute. Why come them damn transcendent things don't have no arms?
They don't need arm. What they need arm for?
That's- So my take on that is they took the pearl out of a host and they put it in that thing, and that
Right.
must have been the device that sent him to the sublime.
Mm.
And they made it's like a religious shrine would be my take. That
Oh,
would be my
okay.
take. It's some kind of
All
take
right.
your soul, put it in the tool, and it'll go
Gotcha,
to
gotcha,
heaven.
gotcha.
That would I have
Upload it.
no, that's the only sense I can make of it. Other than that,
well, the first thing I thought when she was going like this on it, I thought, yeah, she probably designed it that way so she wouldn't be scratching herself.
mm.
Seeing
Well, I
how
mean,
as a
she's
human, she
burnt.
doesn't, scratched up her arm.
Yeah.
Even before she was burnt, she did that scratching stuff though.
Digging in her arm.
Yeah.
So when she was getting ready to go into the sublime, we think that was real time.
Transcend.
She was
trans-
getting
she
ready
was
to
gonna
transcend.
Transcend.
I don't think.
No,
we
Bernard's
still-
got the key. So what the hell's going
I don't
on?
think right. That's what I was going to say. I don't think we still understand what transcend means.
It means taking you out of that human body and putting you in that machine shrine looking thing. That's what transcend
right.
means.
I get it, but what happens to you? That's the
I don't
point
know.
that I'm making.
You in the pearl.
So you end up you're not in the sublime.
You're not in a
yet.
body. You're not in an actual like
Exactly.
host body anymore.
Exactly.
But you're not in the sublime because you can't access the sublime as
Exactly. So yeah.
Bernard said.
You're in
You
purgatory.
just floating up in
I know.
in the
You a whole
clouds
bunch
somewhere.
of little long-legged statues walking around in the cities. That's what you do.
I don't. Yeah, that's the part that I wish they would have explained a little bit better.
And that design is awful too, by the way. That thing was, and I'm thinking, you want to transcend from a human body to that? Why?
But the thing is, this is not a body. It's not about the body. It's about you being supposedly free to be wherever. But they don't really explain where that
They
is.
don't.
No, they didn't.
No.
Like,
It's
are you
still a
just
question.
It's still
Yeah.
a question. Like,
I think
what
you're
are
yeah,
you?
go ahead.
Like, are you just going to be a cloud-based entity? But what are you doing in this cloud-based thing? Are you going to have like a simulated world? Or,
They haven't explained that,
they
have
haven't
they?
explained
No,
it. That's the part
they
that I was
haven't.
confused
Because
about.
we have if they're having experiences there or not, right? 'Cause,
Yeah.
well,
Don't
Why
know.
else? Why would they want to do that?
Or well,
all very
maybe she
Catholic.
made a pseudo sublime, and that's where they're going.
Yeah, could be a fake sublime.
yeah, it's a
Well, not a fake one, but
cash bar and
just a just a different one.
Well, it's not the real one. It's not going to be the
yeah,
real
it's not
one.
the real one.
But you can't
Not
get
the
to
real
that
one.
one.
how are you gonna know when you're in the real sublime? Come on. I mean, how are you gonna know when you're really, really anywhere? Because all these programs got to be built to have an eye that's having the experience. So
Mhm.
you always are going to be in a place.
Okay,
And- go ahead.
this is what I don't get. If Christina is not in the real world, but she's able to control the people around her in that Olympiad, then how was she able to control them and everything
Right.
around her if she's not really there? Because they were really there.
And let's assume that they were really there. They were really people. We've seen people avoid her on the street. So it's clear that they're sensing her, whatever that means. It's almost like she's in a virtual reality
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
everybody, but a body isn't there. I mean, this is the stuff that this show's doing on purpose, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, her being in the tower doesn't bother me at all. You know, her
Yeah,
being
it
Okay.
reminds me of when early in the
Programmer.
season when she heard the homeless guy. Can you hear the sounds? Can you hear it? But when she was asking him questions, I can't recall if the guy was actually looking at her.
He
And she
wasn't.
was asking him. He wasn't, right?
Mm-mm.
And now thinking
Okay.
back too, in that one scene, I think
You're
was
right.
it last episode or the other episode where she meets Hale. Was that real? Did Hale see Dolores?
Yeah.
Christina?
Hmm.
Yeah.
They
Well,
were
they
having a
acted like they were
conversation
there.
at that restaurant.
So it seemed, and then
You
she
make
doesn't
good
even know
points.
whether she's in the real world or not either. So I don't know if there's an actual switch where
Oh,
she's in the real world, she's seen by particular people,
I see
or
what you mean.
you know.
Maybe
but
Hale
then,
has a, you know.
and then I'm thinking now too, the guy who kept telling her, "You're ruining my life," was he the only one able to see Christina? And nobody. There has to be a switch or something, some sort of back
So,
door.
but he was infected though, supposedly.
Yeah.
So maybe it's only the infected people that can see her.
Maybe.
That's the part that's
But then-
flipping me
Oh,
out.
that's really interesting. Yeah.
it's-
Hmm.
Maybe more questions.
Well, I'm
Hmm.
hoping that they do the work to resolve.
I'm
this,
hoping
right?
too.
I
It's-
don't
it's
think
just
they
not-
got time.
I don't think so. That
They only got an hour left.
well, I read
Yeah.
online that they have been greenlit for season 5. So
Okay.
Oh goodness. What we
Yeah,
gonna do
well,
in season 5?
who knows?
I don't know.
Create
I
a-
mean,
a
do you guys
new
want to
world.
talk about the episode
Hmm.
title for next episode, or that's a bit spoilery?
No, I don't care.
No,
What was
what's the
it?
episode
Okay.
title?
Que sera.
Oh,
So
What will be,
apparently,
will be.
What will be
Yeah.
will
Will
be.
be.
and then yeah, whatever will be. The future's not ours to see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So exactly that last line, I'm like, oh god. next season.
Well,
Well,
Well, I mean, I agree. I want them to kind of tie up some of those questions, and they're not going to be able to do it this season because we only got one left. But somehow, kind of tell me what this all is trying to say. Like,
well,
tell me
you said
what,
it last week, though, or maybe Jay said it. They're just trying to make small comments here and there, right? They may not have a big Rehoboam world view of what they're doing. Because, like those comments of the Man in Black, they worked hard all season to get those wisecracks out there. They were looking for those moments. Hey, if it isn't Arnold's ghost, I mean, that's $1 million line right there, right? and they're good moments, but I don't know that they have it figured out. Particularly if they're going to stay with a binary reality versus a non-reality view, then they don't have a choice but to keep us guessing.
The part that I want them to kind of figure out is, okay, when we go back to Westworld or the 1920s or whatever world we're in, and when
the golden age.
Yeah, the golden age, and we're over in this new future world, and like, what are we real there? Are we actual hosts? Are we in the sublime? Where are we? I just want them to kind of sort out for me, like, where is all this going?
Well,
like,
we know the timelines are the same now.
Well, Akacheta was the harbinger for another simulation, right? Whenever you saw him, you knew you were still in the sublime. And so he was there for 2 or 3. And then we saw him 4 or 5 times asking the same question. Do you know how this ends? Do you think you can save them? Right. So
each time Bernard said a little bit more of what he said before, but with a different meaning. And that's the thing that kind of throws me, because I want to put the pieces together as to, okay, we're in the sublime. He's trying to figure out how to save this world that we're not really in because we're not real.
Right.
And any new Maeve that we have is going to be a copy because she's in the sublime, and he is too. So any other of those hosts that are in the sublime are going to be copies in the world.
Right.
So, I mean, what does that mean? And then they left the door open, obviously, I think, for someone to get out or someone to go in. I think the Man in Black is going to try to get in there.
Mess up
somehow.
that. Damn.
Now that might be
and Dolores
too.
Is going to try to come out.
But if this is a simulation, okay. Teddy's already said that's the real world, but you're not in it. We already know Hale has a real world that she's controlling. Okay, now we have C and her rebel group on the same timeline with Hale and her group because they meet. So everybody's on the same timeline now. So what they're going to do with that is the question.
Yeah.
Right.
Because all the timelines now are the same. And even though Bernard and Maeve, who he just shot, are copies, because Bernard has let us know that they are.
Right.
But now everybody's on the same timeline. That's what has me thrown like, okay, so what? So they're now all together.
What does this mean? Because we might be in the same time, but apparently we're not in the same world. So what world we in? How are we going to get there? And how is any of our hosts that are stuck in the sublime or living their lives in the sublime going to come out? They're always going to be a copy.
Yeah. But yeah, the Man in Black, I think, is headed back to the dam. That's what I think. I think that's where he's headed.
That's where he's walking.
Well, he's walking from the tower, but the tower is across from New York. It's not at the dam.
And that tower is the former Statue of Liberty. We agree on that, right? I mean, because you've done enough shots to show that you're walking across, over to
and he blew it up. So it ain't no more.
Now, my thing is, if he blew it up, that means the tones aren't sounding anymore. So does that mean all the people are going to stop fighting?
No, that means the people are going to be acting on the last command that they had. Because even if some of the infected humans are no longer susceptible to the tones, but all the other ones are, and they fighting. So you got to fight back.
You got to fight back.
Right. And, the thing is, there was a lot of hyperbole in the language, like this world's going to die and that world's going to die. It's just Manhattan, man. I'm not mean. You know what I mean by there's been no discussion of nuclear war. There's no discussion of a pandemic
event.
Exactly.
Well, there's no discussion of whether it's the whole United States or the whole world either. It could be just that little coast area.
Yeah,
we don't know.
That's why I get a little with the cynicism, the whole world. Well, your world ain't the whole world. And,
exactly. No, but they think so.
Including the writers, maybe. I mean, I watched.
Aren't they from New York?
Snap. Christopher Nolan's brother, I don't forget what his first name is. Christopher Nolan did Interstellar. He did
He did Batman's.
He did the Batman show. So he's a very good writer, director. Julian or something is his brother's name. My God, if he's watching this, he's gonna hate me for life. But it's clear he's got a mean, cynical streak. I mean, it's clear he's like, well, we are, I very much agree with this person's view that we're this and that. And it's like, man, didn't you have any joy yesterday? I mean, come on. We all live in this cockroach world.
Oh, wait a minute.
Maybe not.
I'm just saying. I come home from work pissed. I get mad at people, and then I find happiness here and there. The idea that it sucks because you're not walking around with a smile 24/7. That's diagnostic of a pretty privileged worldview, I'd say. Leave it at that. It's just I need to be comfortable in a world of death and destruction that isn't evil. That's what I'm saying, because the world is death and destruction and happiness and sex and fun and love. So it's not like it ain't part of the same mess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They need to open some chakras, right, Joseph?
Some more chakras.
Yeah. She don't know about chakras, but I do.
It's a Amazon last Airbender reference. It's also a form of yoga term, but you unlock your levels of consciousness in your body.
It's a meditative term because when you're meditating, and you need to actually work on specific chakras in order for you to get enlightenment.
So
and
pray
to
tell.
meet your spirit guide.
Damn. So what else can you tell us? How far are you along on this spirit journey?
Oh, way back, like maybe 20 or so years ago.
Yeah.
I used to meditate a lot, and I have met my spirit guide.
Well, good for you. I'm serious. Data are clear. So
and he was just as crazy as me.
Well, that's why he's your guy. They gotta make that cosmic match has to be pretty tight.
Right.
Tell you what, though, I saw a scientist give a talk a couple years ago. They measured brain energy, and I don't know exactly how they measured it, but it's a scientific measure of people that were on LSD.
Oh, yeah.
People that weren't honest on LSD, and then people that were expert meditators. And what they found was the energy signature of the LSD brain is higher than the energy signature of the non-LSD brain, but so is the energy signature of the expert meditators. So what that means is that expert meditators have actually reorganized the energy signature of their brains, and they're actually putting themselves in different energy states than non-meditators. And her comment at the end was so brilliant. She said, so all of you people out there meditating, you're out there tripping on your own resources. Good for you.
Well, but ancient, we think we're so modern and so technological, but ancient people knew and understood that your brain operates on a frequency that is similar to certain gemstones. And that's from the earth, that they get from the earth.
Yeah.
So
that's
absolutely where
absolutely.
meditation and your chakras come in.
That it's so awesome that we're having this conversation, because a lot of people in cognitive psychology are looking eastward for ideas now, right? Because of sort of analytic stuff, by the way, which is completely reflected in the robots of Westworld, right? That we can create a human with logic, right? Which is that idea is not something that is an Eastern idea. But,
of course.
No, exactly. Wow, we should make people pay for this episode, man. What a education going on here. I'll tell you what. Maybe I should pay my guests
to ask about.
Mm-hmm.
So before Bernard gets killed, for his copy, he's recording a message.
Yes.
Yes.
Because the tower blew up. I wonder where the message went to, if for someone to be able to capture that recording.
I think he was
Question.
sending a message to Dolores. That's who I assumed it was.
Because what he says, if you let her make the choice, press the left button or reach to the left or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was. So it was definitely she that he was referring to. I got the impression it was C at first, to be honest, but that's just what came to my mind. No rhyme or reason.
Yeah. I thought it was Dolores because she created all of that. Because she created that property where the dam is and everything. And Hale kept it protected, but she couldn't get, because she wants to get into the Sublime, but she didn't have the key. That's what Bernard said. So, the only reason Hale kept it protected is because she has been searching for the key to open up the Sublime. Otherwise, she probably would have bombed it or something, because Charlotte created that, or that's where she put all the, everybody's information.
No, so you just made it clear we have at least 3 levels of henchmen, right? We've got the man in black, who is Shaloris's henchman, and then Shaloris is Dolores's henchman, in the sense that Dolores is really just a program right now. We don't know where that program is, if it's in the Sublime, if it's in that tower or something. And I think I think we were on target last time, where she programmed herself to be able to do this and not be aware of what she was doing.
Yeah.
And then Teddy's waking her up and you know what?
But I think Bernard sent Teddy, though.
I think, okay, I have no problem with that. I'll totally buy into that. And I think he was talking to Teddy now in answer to Joseph's question.
That could be it too. I was just thinking that too.
Oh, you know what? That's a better idea.
Press the button on the left, Dolores.
The guide Dolores. To wherever her.
Yeah. Trust her to pick the right one.
That makes sense, though, y'all. It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
I wish we would have had a little more time knowing who had sent Teddy. I would have loved 2 or 3 hours of knowing that level of game going on.
Yeah, because
hopefully
Teddy
it'll be in next season more. We'll see.
Could be.
The Teddy we had seen before.
Well, I do know that he's doing something. By he, I mean the man in black.
Yeah.
He's either doing or did something or said something to Clementine, because she's not following. So maybe she resists, like
I love it.
Like Dolores resisted in season 1. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Let me ask you guys. Oh, go ahead.
Well, because I was thinking back to the scene where Hale was questioning Clementine, or whatever her character's name is in this loop, and I can't remember what. If we even got a name for her character this time. But where she was talking about, oh, you really like them humans, don't you? No, I just want to be where the sheep are, But I have a feeling, though, that she's been infected, or whatever that means. But she's more like the man in black before he stabbed himself, in that, she's questioning.
And that's what the man in black does if he gets infected. He just kills everybody else.
Oh, man.
He's not going to kill himself.
To me, that was the most shocking part of the whole
He's gonna
episode.
Kill himself.
Yeah, I didn't expect that either.
I know,
maybe
but
I thought he would take him out of that chamber, let's team up or whatever, but he just stabbed the heck out of
him.
Yeah, I really give him the writers a lot of credit for that whole, a couple of generations of code ain't gonna solve nothing. There's a piece
that's good. Right. Let's talk about that beautifully choreographed fight between Maeve and Hale. Oh my gosh, that was good.
It was. No, and
that was really cool.
The bits they showed afterwards about putting them on the wires. And
wasn't that good?
Yeah.
But I just love the fact that I love their banter when Maeve comes around the corner and says, "Oh, I knew you was gonna lose your mind, but I didn't think it was literal." That was so good.
It
Maeve
was good.
was good too. She had the one-liners like when
Oh,
Bernard,
she
when
did.
she realized she was not actually there and she was a copy. She's like, well, I knew my little quips were falling flat.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
she did do
exactly.
that.
Get your game on, Bernard. Make a good me. Come
Yeah.
on. And then I
But
love
that-
it when he said, "What are you gonna do? You're gonna come fight with me?" And she just kind of rolls her eyes at him and then walks on.
I know. Wasn't
I
that
love
good?
it.
That was so good.
Yeah, she gets all the
But-
best lines.
But that fight was so good. It was really well done. And then here come that dang drone. I thought, oh wow, that ain't even fair.
Yeah,
That's
that
not
wasn't
fair.
fair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
gotta tell you though, they shot that whole thing really well, like you said, just the sheer choreography, and then to see Maeve shot from behind.
I know.
If that's what happened, that was shocking, just
Yeah,
totally
it was.
shocking.
You're like, what?
And then
Damn.
Shaloris, shocking. For me, it was just like, damn.
But
wait a
it
minute.
was so, to me, it was equally shocking when her reaction was, well, what took you so damn long?
Yeah,
I
like
thought,
she'd
well,
been sitting there
damn,
watching
woman.
it sneak out. Yeah. And she's done, and she's doing a great job on that character. She's got it pegged.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So it was interesting. This is the first time we saw her quit. I mean, she quit when she said
Yeah.
she's gonna go, I'm done. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
What does that
I'm
mean
ready.
for her to quit? Right. Because one thing we
Mhm.
haven't talked about is there was a line in this episode where they talked about we tried to see if we could convert humans to hosts. There
Yeah.
was one line in there, and the
Mhm.
But
idea
Stubbs saying it,
is-
I think.
I don't remember who said it, but it
I
was
think
quick.
Stubbs when she was touring Frankie around.
Yes, this is what
He said something along the lines of, "Oh, we
Yes.
kind of had this similar setup in the first park,
Mm.
something like that, and they were trying to
Yeah,
create
did.
a human into a
Yeah.
host or a host
Host.
into a human."
No, it
Host
was
to human.
humans into
Human
host,
to a
right?
host.
And that's that idea that you can perfect them if their motivations are digital, I guess,
Mhm.
versus analog, or you think you can control them. Again, that goes back to why Maeve is special. I think it's because she just can't be
Mhm.
controlled.
But yeah, Stubbs did say that, didn't he? When they were going through
Yeah.
Yeah,
that little area and they saw the glass rooms.
Because when I
Mhm.
heard that, I thought, well, maybe Shaloris really does experience herself as kind of a missionary. I mean, she's trying to get the hosts to go to transcendence. She's trying to get the humans trained to want to become hosts, and none of it's working. And they're rejecting everything that she's done. And she says, I'm out. I know that's the vibe I got. Because
She's ready.
she's just
Yeah.
done. Needs
I
to go
mean,
to
yeah, she was
Nirvana.
done.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
just,
that's what she said. And when
Well, it
she
was-
sat down and said, I'm ready. And here come the drone with the little buzzsaw, cranial buzzsaw.
Yeah.
I said,
Well,
oh,
it was
Lord.
kind of mirroring what Bernard said underneath that desk when he said, I'm tired.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been through every single simulation. Nothing. There's only one way that this is going to work. And it's
Yeah.
obviously still going to mean I'm going to die. It
Yeah.
was kind of the same, like, let's just
But then
over with
Stubbs, what
type
Stubbs
of-
say? I waited 23 years to hear this. He
Yeah.
ready to go too. He ready
Yep.
to call it a day.
Yes. Exactly.
Mhm.
I mean, just to think that Bernard was in the Sublime for 23 years when
Mm.
we ended last season with him being all dusty.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like how it's kind of like maybe that takes them the same amount of time to crack a password or something. I don't know, but trying to figure out the different combinations and stuff.
Right.
So
You know what? You hit on something, Joseph, because he did tell Maeve when he powered down that big robot guard,
mhm.
and he said, while I was in the Sublime, I was able to break his encryption.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
So he's tired too.
Yeah. No
Not
joke.
gonna lie.
And
Everybody
imagine,
died.
23 years. When
everybody
we saw
died
his
except the man in
dust.
black.
Well,
Well,
and
I think
dying
he-
every single time.
Yeah, and all the
Mhm.
dying, and I think he wants to go and be with his son.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
thought
the
it was,
following-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just thought it was cool in the beginning when he and Maeve were talking, Bernard and Maeve were talking, and she just instantly said, no, put me back in there. Just get me and put me back in there. She doesn't care what you want to call physical or real. She wants to live in the experience of her daughter. And I think for me, that's the boldest philosophical statement they're making in the show, though they're not really making it. And I like that idea that we live in a world of experience, and you can call it physical, you can call it spiritual, call it whatever you want. But I like
Well,
that about her.
The
character.
title of this, somebody said the title of this means spiritually a change of mind.
Yep.
That's what that word means.
Yeah, I got the
Yep.
definition. A profound, usually spiritual transformation, conversion, change in one ways of life resulting from penitence or spiritual conversion. So
That's
Well,
definitely the Man in Black.
Man in Black, and it was Shaloris, right? Because she was
Yeah.
ready to go, and it's
Transcend.
kind of
Yeah.
going to Christina, right? Because now
Yes.
she's in a different space, so they're all changing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're gonna get together, have a cup of coffee, and say, "Damn, where are we, y'all? I'm tired."
Yeah, where are you at? Because I need to find out where I'm at.
Oh, man, just running around killing each other. We don't even know where the hell we are. Like Man in Black's gonna say, "It's a game, kids. Just be a cockroach."
We're part of the game.
Just part of the game. Cool. Any other insights or comments about this episode?
last thing, when the Man in the Black made his last instruction, I don't know, it gave me the Purge vibes. I was like, oh shit, the Purge is about to happen right now. But the odd thing is they're all doing physical fights though.
Yeah.
No one was getting a weapon or anything. Well, kind of like they're all like
We heard some gunshots though.
Yes, just some, but
Mhm.
Right.
mostly at the right when the start, people were just grabbing each other and
Yeah.
strangling each other. So
Well, it's a few decades in the future. Manhattan probably has gun control by then. You know, they don't have as many guns running around.
I have a question, and that is when Caleb said to that dude, "I'll give you 50 for your coat."
yeah, where's the money?
Did he
at?
mean money?
Yeah.
He didn't have no money. He had
No, he's just
little
saying that
hospital
to
gown
get the
thing
guy to give it to him. He can run. That's all it was.
And he just willingly gave it to him, and then next thing he got the
Yeah,
rope out.
okay, so that exchange was so, I'm just going to say silly.
It
But
was.
I
It
thought, what,
was. And I'm
Caleb
It was a-
have- I thought maybe
It was a
Why would
tad
they
off.
say that?
well, I thought maybe they were trying to imply that Caleb had Christina powers. Because the dude didn't even look like he thought about it. He just said, I'll give
that
you
could
50
be
for
it.
the coat. And they
Oh.
just gave him the coat.
Everybody, then he does.
You know, I'm just
Maybe.
saying,
I
it
didn't
just
even
gotta
think about
switch
that.
because
to-
it was a very silly, otherwise it was just damn silly line. I mean, not a look. No one's gonna just say, you know, at least not in the world I live in. I don't know.
Well,
Hmm.
I mean, at the time I thought, what?
I'll give you 50.
50 was.
Yeah, I gave 50 what? Did he mean dollars?
You
Because
know.
he didn't
I'll
say
be like, where are my
dollars.
50 before I take this thing off?
Yeah, wouldn't the average person say, okay, where it at? You know,
Exactly.
before they took off their coat? That was strange.
Well,
to
we'll
me.
see. It's a little too late in the season for us to suss out whether
Yeah.
Caleb might
But the
have.
best part
Christina
is
powers.
the very last scene. Man in Black got his hat back on
Yeah.
and he is leaving.
He just blew up the Statue of Liberty and he's walking
Yeah,
into
he's just
Manhattan.
wrapped up,
He's gone,
and now
man.
he's gone.
He's
But the
just
main
in
thing
there.
is he's got his whole outfit on, back on.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah.
I like the
And-
commentary that they said that at the very end, when we see the creators, they mentioned about Red Dead Redemption. I don't play that game. I've seen clips of it, and it really gave
It
Red Dead
did,
Redemption
with the hat.
vibes.
Really?
hat.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a good scene, though. That was good. Him just walking on.
And being himself.
Yep.
Had to
Yeah.
kill himself to get there, but he's being himself. And we'll see how this plays out. Yeah.
I can't imagine what
Yeah.
the last
You won't
episode's
know.
gonna be.
You
One
won't know.
left.
Yeah.
It looks
Mm.
good. It looks interesting.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, I have appreciated, like I said last time, a lot of it has a 70s movie vibe to it, the way they're shooting it, you know, not your traditional shoot 'em up sci-fi stuff we're seeing a lot of these days. So I dig the
Yeah.
calm. I dig the taking their time to tell the story. Yeah, we'll see. Any other questions or comments or things you liked or didn't like?
No,
No, that's okay.
except
All
you
right.
know, I
Go
was
ahead.
just sitting there thinking that, you know, we saw the golden age and then we haven't seen it anymore.
because all we see is the remnants, right? You know, there is a question.
They're
I
not
wanna
even
ask
in
you.
that park. They're in the city. So
Well, but the people in the desert, the rebels, they're in the broken down,
Park.
roaring,
Old park.
but
whatever it is.
they're not in the park where the Golden Age park is, you know, the new one that they opened up.
But that new one is 20 some years old.
Yeah.
True.
I mean,
Well, that's
right?
true.
So I'm thinking
That's
where they-
true. I forgot
that's
about the
another
timeline.
question,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
is-
yeah.
Because when
That's right.
I think in season 2 or 3, I think it was the beginning of season 3, they showed us that the Westworld wasn't in the United States.
Right. It was
Somewhere.
somewhere.
It was Southeast Asia somewhere, I believe.
Mhm.
And then when they're using the they're using the Hoover Dam to basically run the YouTube servers that are the Sublime,
Mhm.
but they're also building a new park. And
Yeah.
all of our main characters have been in that park. So are they building in the United States?
I just assumed they were because of
Yeah.
where the dam is.
Well,
Mhm.
Yeah, I
And
get you.
because of where Bernard found Maeve out in the desert.
which we assume is somewhere in the US because
Yes.
they're able to get back.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're playing with us.
interesting.
I don't know. Maybe all
Yeah.
that stuff that's in the desert is in the Sublime. You know what I'm saying? Or nothing. Or they're.
But I don't think seeing them are in the Sublime. They're people.
Right.
Well,
Well, then they're
they're
getting
in the
from the
real world.
desert to Manhattan pretty damn fast. Because there is no desert around
Mhm.
Manhattan, right? There's just
That's
That's like
and
a
rivers.
Not that we
12-hour
know of.
drive.
Yeah,
Like,
so-
we
Could
are
be in
going
the
to Hoover
future.
Dam.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll answer some of those questions for us. We
The-
do have
the
a little. Go ahead.
geography of it is interesting. Yeah.
We'll see if they expected us to use that as a clue or not. We'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. So we got a little bit of viewer mail here.
Okay, cool.
Will Smalls writes in.
Oh,
Hey,
hey,
Will.
Will.
He says, "Great recap. Are the sisters putting this on IG or Twitter? I found you while looking for Westworld content."
oh.
I don't. What is
we
IG?
haven't-
Instagram
Instagram, I
Instagram.
guess.
Yeah.
or
we
Twitter?
haven't
I found you
shared-
while looking for Westworld. So,
No, this
I don't
is
know.
strictly a Dark Loops
this be Dark
production.
Loops here, exactly. So, but
Production.
anyway, the fans, or at least on Reddit, are calling the humans "Y-fly." Y-fly, since it's
I
kind
like
of like a network. The center tower sending out tones to the humans that circulate, and they're all children, and no old people or young children.
Oh, you know what? We
Oh,
didn't.
Yeah.
Did we?
you know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, they're all adults.
We didn't see no old folk.
No. If
Ooh.
homeless men can hear the tower, he could be a host playing a part.
Who?
I think someone talked about that. One of
Oh.
us talked about that last week. That the
He
guy
could be a host just playing a part.
playing a part to
To see it-
convince
Yeah.
Christina
to see.
that something
yeah.
weird's going on, or
Mhm.
or a plant by Bernard try to wake
Wake up
her up.
Dolores.
Well,
Yeah.
Frankie, when they first rescued the guy that she was partnered, I can't think of his name. She was a child then, and you're right. I don't remember us seeing any other kids. That would have been a giveaway.
No, I don't remember him either. No.
Interesting. That's interesting. I like
That is
term.
interesting.
Why fly? That's cool.
Why? Well, thanks for writing in, Will. We hope you're writing for the next one. And
you, Will.
then I have another one from B is the only name here. And it
B.
says the only true theory is that Teddy is Bear.
Okay.
All right.
Is
So
that from the We Bear Bears cartoon?
I'm guessing
Probably.
Maybe.
well, so we truly appreciate you writing in B.
Thank you, B. Don't know what
We'll
that
figure it
means.
out
could
at the
be.
end of last episode if Teddy is Bear or not. You know what I'm saying?
Huh.
Well, okay, so that about wraps it up for this week's episode. Panelists, please tell the audience where they can find you on social media, and we shall start with Joseph.
You can find me on Twitter at JOZEFD14.
Fantastic. And how about you, Sistah Kay? Where can we find you two on social media?
We are everywhere you can find podcasts, and our website is sistahspeakproductions.com. We're everywhere.
Fantastic. You can find me on YouTube at Dark Loops Productions. You can find all episodes of Westworld Season 4 there. If you'd like to make a comment or ask a question, write into darkloopsproductions@gmail.com or leave a comment on this YouTube page, and we'll be sure to read it at the end of our next podcast. So there it is, from all of us to all of you. Big hugs. And remember, in this world, you can be whatever the F
you want.
you want to be. Oh.
Thank you so much. That's okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.